Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the Terra Nova, watching the stars through the main window. His ship had been flying through space for 3 months now. They were looking for new planets that humans might live on someday. Jake had done this job for 15 years, but he still loved seeing new parts of the galaxy. "Captain, we're getting some strange readings," said Lieutenant Ben Rodriguez from his station. Ben was the ship's navigation officer. He was young but very smart about space travel. Jake walked over to Ben's station. "What kind of strange readings?" "There's something big out there. Really big. At first I thought it was a planet, but the gravity is all wrong." Dr. Lisa Chung looked up from her own station. Lisa was the ship's scientist who studied old things from space. She had joined the crew 2 years ago and was always excited about new discoveries. "Can you put it on the main screen?" Jake asked. The big screen at the front of the bridge showed what looked like a dark planet. It was huge, much bigger than Earth, but something about it seemed different. "The gravity readings don't make sense," Ben said. "A planet this size should have much stronger gravity, but this one is almost hollow inside." Commander Amy Williams came onto the bridge. She was Jake's second in command and his most trusted. "Officer, what's the situation, Captain?" "We found something unusual. Amy, take a look at this." Amy studied the screen. She had been in space for 12 years and had seen many strange things, but this was different. "That's not a normal planet," she said. "The shape is too perfect. And look at those lines on the surface." Jake looked closer. Amy was right. There were straight lines across the planet's surface. Nature didn't make straight lines like that. "Lisa, can you scan it more carefully?" Jake asked. Lisa worked at her station, using the ship's best sensors. "Captain, you need to see this. The surface has metal under it. Lots of metal. And there are empty spaces inside, like rooms or tunnels." "Rooms?" Jake asked. "How big are these rooms?" "Some of them are as big as cities. Captain, I think this might be artificial. Someone built this thing." The bridge became very quiet. Everyone stared at the screen. If Lisa was right, they had found something incredible. "Ben, how far away are we?" Jake asked. "About 2 million kilometers. We could be there in 6 hours if we use full speed." Jake thought carefully. His job was to explore and report back to Earth, but this could be dangerous. If aliens had built this thing, they might not want visitors. "Amy, what do you think?" Amy looked at the data. "The object isn't moving. No energy readings. It looks dead. But we should be careful." "Lisa, any signs of life?" Lisa checked her instruments. Again, no life signs that I can detect. "Whatever this is, it's been quiet for a very long time." Jake made his decision. "Ben, set course for the object. But go slow. Amy, put the ship on alert. Everyone should know what we're doing." As the Terra Nova moved closer, the object got bigger and bigger on the screen. It was enormous. The entire planet Earth could fit inside it several times. "Captain," Lisa said, her voice full of excitement, "I'm detecting structures all over the surface. They're covered by dirt and rocks, but they're there. This whole thing is one giant machine." "A machine?" Jake asked. "What kind of machine is this big?" "I don't know. But Captain, look at this." Lisa put a new image on the screen. It showed the inside of the object. There were levels and levels of empty space. It looked like a huge city that had been abandoned. "My God," Amy whispered. "It's like a ship the size of a planet." Ben's station started beeping. "Captain, we're getting a weak signal from the object." "It's very faint." "What kind of signal?" "I'm not sure. It's not like anything in our databases. But it's definitely artificial." Jake felt his heart beating faster. This was the biggest discovery in human history. Amy, send a message to Earth Command. Tell them what we found. Use the emergency channel. Amy nodded and started working. What should I tell them? Tell them we've found a planet-sized starship. Tell them it might be alien technology. And tell them we're going to investigate. As Amy sent the message, Jake looked at the massive object on the screen. It was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. Whoever built this had technology far beyond anything humans had ever imagined. Lisa, how old do you think this thing is? Lisa studied her readings. Based on the dust and rock covering it, I'd say it's been here for thousands of years. Maybe tens of thousands. And it's been dead all this time? That's what it looks like. But Captain, something this advanced might just be sleeping. Jake nodded. Ben, take us closer. But stay ready to run if anything happens. The Terra Nova moved toward the giant ship. Jake knew that in the next few hours everything would change. Not just for his crew, but for all of humanity. They were about to discover the humans were not alone in the universe. And they were about to learn that the universe was much stranger than anyone had ever imagined. 3 days after Jake Morrison's message reached Earth, the space around the giant ship became very busy. Admiral Paul Green arrived with 5 warships and 2 science vessels. The biggest ship was the heavy cruiser Endeavour, commanded by Captain. Nina Ross.Jake stood in the meeting room of the Terra Nova with all the new commanders. Admiral Green was a tall man with gray hair who had been fighting space pirates for 20 years. Captain Ross was younger, but had a reputation for being very smart and careful. Captain Morrison, Admiral Green said, your discovery has caused quite a stir back on Earth. The President himself wants daily reports. Yes, sir, Jake replied. Dr. Chang has learned much more in the past few days. Lisa stepped forward with her datapad. Admiral, we've confirmed that this is definitely artificial. The entire structure is made of materials we don't recognize. They're stronger than anything we have. Dr. Kevin Baker, the expert scientist who came with the fleet, looked at Lisa's data. Have you found any way inside? Yes, sir. There are several openings that look like docking bays. They're huge, big enough for our largest ships. Admiral Green studied the images on the screen. Captain Ross, I want you to take the Endeavour and escort the science teams. Captain Morrison, your ship found this thing, so you'll lead the exploration. Jake felt proud, but also nervous. What are our orders if we find something alive in there? Try to communicate, but be ready to fight. If necessary, we don't know if whoever built this is friendly. 2 hours later, Jake's team flew a small shuttle toward one of the openings in the giant ship. Lisa sat next to him, checking her instruments. Ben was flying the shuttle, and Amy was watching for any signs of danger. The opening is getting bigger. Ben said, I can fit 10 shuttles through there side by side. As they flew inside, their lights showed walls covered in strange symbols. The tunnel they were in was perfectly smooth and went on for kilometers. Lisa, are you recording all this? Jake asked. Every second, Captain. These symbols are unlike anything in our databases. They're not like any human writing. The tunnel opened into a huge chamber. When Ben turned on the shuttle's main lights, everyone gasped. The chamber was so big that their lights couldn't reach the far walls. But they could see structures everywhere. Buildings, walkways, and strange machines filled the space. It's like a city, Amy whispered. A city built inside a planet. They flew deeper into the ship. Every chamber was different. Some had forests, with trees that looked almost normal. Others had lakes of water that glowed softly. But everything was empty. No people, no animals, nothing alive. Captain, Lisa said, I'm detecting atmosphere in here. We could actually breathe this air. How? Is that possible? This thing has been in space for thousands of years. The ship is keeping itself alive somehow. There are machines working everywhere, maintaining everything. They landed in a large open area that looked like a park. Jake and his team put on their spacesuits and stepped outside the shuttle. The ground felt solid under their feet. "This is incredible," Lisa said, looking around. The builders of this ship created entire worlds inside it. Amy pointed to a structure in the distance. "Captain, that building looks important. It's bigger than the others." As they walked toward the building, Jake's radio crackled. "Captain Morrison, this is Admiral Green. We're detecting energy building up in the ship. Something is happening." Suddenly, lights began turning on everywhere. The buildings around them started glowing. Jake felt the ground vibrate under his feet. "Everyone back to the shuttle now," Jake ordered, but before they could move, a voice spoke. It didn't come from their radios or from any speaker they could see. It seemed to come from everywhere at once. "Welcome, young ones. We have been waiting." Jake's team froze. The voice was speaking English, but it sounded strange, like it was very old and very tired. "Who are you?" Jake asked, speaking to the air. "We are the Shepherd. We guard this vessel and others like it. You have awakened us with your presence." "Others like it?" Lisa asked. "There are more ships like this, many more, scattered across the galaxy. We have watched your species for some time. You are younger than most, but you show promise." Admiral Green's voice came through the radio. "Captain Morrison, the entire ship is powering up. We're reading massive energy signatures." Jake looked around. The city was coming alive. Machines were moving, and he could hear sounds like flowing water and distant music. "Shepherd," Jake said, "we mean no harm. We're explorers from Earth. We know. Your species is curious, like the others were. That is why you have been chosen." "Chosen? For what?" "To carry on the work of the architects, the ones who built us." Amy stepped closer to Jake. "Captain, this is way beyond our mission. We need to report this to Earth immediately." The Shepherd seemed to hear her. "Your leaders will know soon enough. But first, you must understand. This vessel is not just a ship. It is an ark. A place of safety for when the darkness comes." "What darkness?" Jake asked. "The Devourers. They come every 50,000 years. They consume all life in their path. The architects built us to preserve civilizations until the danger passes." Lisa's instruments were beeping wildly. "Captain, I'm detecting incredible technology all around us. This ship has power sources we can't even understand." The Shepherd spoke again. "Young ones, you have found us at the right time. The next wave of Devourers will arrive in your lifetime. 37 of your years." Jake felt cold despite his heated suit. "How many of these ships are there?" "Thousands. Most sleep, waiting for the signal. But now that you have found us, others will awaken. Your species will have an important role to play." "What kind of role?" "You will learn, but first you must tell your people. The galaxy must prepare. The last time the Devourers came, many civilizations were lost forever." Admiral Green's voice came through the radio again. "Captain Morrison, we're detecting other ships powering up across the galaxy. Whatever you did, it's triggered something big." Jake realized that his simple exploration mission had become something much larger. Humanity had just learned that they were not alone in the universe. They had also learned that a terrible danger was coming, and somehow they were expected to help fight it. "Shepherd," Jake said, "will you help us prepare our people?" "Yes, young captain. That is why we exist. But know this, the task ahead will test your species like nothing before. You will need to be strong, clever, and brave." As Jake and his team returned to their shuttle, the entire ship continued to wake up around them. They were no longer just explorers. They had become humanity's first ambassadors to an ancient and powerful civilization. And they had just learned that the fate of the galaxy might depend on how well humans could rise to meet an impossible challenge. Jake Morrison followed the shepherd's glowing pathway deeper into the heart of the planet ship. The corridors were now fully lit, and the air hummed with energy. Lisa walked beside him, her instruments recording everything. Amy and Ben stayed. Close behind, their weapons ready but not drawn. "The command center is ahead," the shepherd's voice said. "There you will understand the truth." They had been walking for an hour through passages that seemed to stretch forever. The ship was so large that Jake felt like an ant crawling through a city. Finally, they reached a massive chamber with a ceiling that disappeared into darkness. Above Dot, in the center of the chamber, stood a tall pillar made of crystal. It pulsed with soft blue light. Around it, images appeared in the air like holograms, showing star systems and planets. "This is the heart of knowledge," the shepherd said. "Here, the architects stored all their wisdom." Jake stepped closer to the crystal pillar. "Tell us about the architects. Who were they?" The images in the air changed. Now they showed beings that looked almost human, but taller and more graceful. They had large eyes and moved with fluid motions. "The architects were the first to achieve true civilization in this galaxy," the shepherd explained. "They lived for millions of years, spreading knowledge and helping younger species grow." "What happened to them?" Lisa asked. "They faced the same enemy that threatens you now. The Devourers." The images changed again. Now they showed dark shapes moving between stars. They looked like shadows with teeth, consuming everything in their path. "The Devourers come from outside our galaxy," the shepherd continued. "They are drawn to life, to consciousness, to the energy that living beings create. They sweep through the galaxy every 50,000 years, feeding on all they find." Jake felt a chill run down his spine. "How many times have they come?" "This will be the 4th time since the architects began building the arc ships. Each time, civilizations fall. Each time, fewer survive." Amy stepped forward. "But some do." "Survive, right? That's what these ships are for?" "Yes. The architects designed us to preserve the best of each civilization. We carry their knowledge, their culture, their genetic patterns. When the Devourers pass, we help rebuild." The images showed the galaxy during previous attacks. Entire star systems went dark as the Devourers passed through. But here and there, the planet ships floated in hidden places, keeping life safe inside them. "The architects themselves did not survive the 3rd wave," the shepherd said. "They gave their loves to complete the arc network. Before they died, they programmed us to wait for the next generation of Guardians." "Guardians?" Jake asked. "Species capable of operating the arc ships. Most civilizations can use our technology, but only a few can truly control it. The architects believed that such species would appear when they were needed most." Lisa was studying her instruments. "Captain, I'm detecting something unusual. The ship's systems are responding to our presence in ways they don't respond to anyone else." "What do you mean?" "It's like the ship recognizes us. Like it's been waiting for humans specifically." The shepherd's voice carried a note of satisfaction. "Dr. Chong is correct. Your species has the right combination of traits. You are curious enough to explore, brave enough to face danger, and adaptable enough to learn quickly." "But we're just one species," Ben said. "How can we help save an entire galaxy?" "You will not be alone. There are other species still alive in the galaxy. The Zephyrians, the Corvani, the Stellar Collective, and many others. But they have become comfortable with their technology. They have forgotten how to adapt and grow." The images showed various alien species. Some looked like humans with different skin colors. Others were completely different, insect-like beings, creatures made of living crystal, and beings of pure energy. Humans are different, the shepherd continued. You have something the others have lost. You still dream of impossible things. You still believe you can solve any problem. Jake thought about this. It was true that humans had always been explorers and inventors. Even when things seemed hopeless, humans found ways to keep trying. What do you need us to do? Jake asked. First, you must learn to operate the Ark ships. The knowledge is here, waiting for you. Then you must convince the other species to work together. The Devourers can only be stopped by united effort. Amy looked skeptical. These other species are more advanced than us. Why would they listen to humans? Because you can do something they cannot. You can awaken the sleeping Arks. You can modify their systems. You can turn them from hiding places into weapons. Weapons? Jake asked. The images changed to show the planet ships in battle formation. They moved through space like a fleet of mobile worlds, their weapons capable of destroying entire enemy fleets. The architects designed the Arks to be more than just shelters, the shepherd explained. They can be the greatest warships ever built. But only the right species can unlock their full potential. Lisa's instruments were beeping rapidly. Captain, I'm detecting massive energy flows. It's like the ship is downloading information directly into our equipment. The ship is preparing to share its knowledge with you, the shepherd said. But be warned, this information will change your species forever. You will become responsible for more than just your own survival. Jake looked at his team. They had come out here looking for new planets to colonize. Now they were being asked to become the guardians of an entire galaxy. How long do we have? Jake asked. 37 years, until the Devourers reach the outer edge of the galaxy. Perhaps 5 more years after that, before they reach the core worlds where most life exists. And how many Ark ships are there? 3,741. Most are hidden throughout the galaxy. Some are disguised as planets, others as asteroids or comets. A few are hidden in the empty spaces between stars. The scale of it was overwhelming. Jake realized that humanity was about to become part of something much bigger than anyone had ever imagined. Shepherd, Jake said, if we agree to this, if we become these guardians, what happens to humanity? What happens to Earth? Earth will be protected. Your species will grow and spread throughout the galaxy. You will become the shepherds of civilization itself. But you will also face dangers beyond anything you have known. Jake made his decision. We accept. Tell us what we need to know. The crystal pillar blazed with light. Information flooded into the air around them. Star charts, technical specifications, and knowledge that would take years to fully understand. But Jake could feel the ship responding to their presence, awakening capabilities that had slept for thousands of years. The process has begun, the shepherd said. Other Arks across the galaxy are now awakening. The species they guard will soon learn what is coming. And you, Captain Morrison, will be humanity's first guardian. As the light faded, Jake realized that everything had changed. Humanity was no longer alone in the universe. They had allies, enemies, and a responsibility that would define their future for generations to come. The news spread across the galaxy faster than anyone expected. Within 2 weeks of Jake's discovery, every major civilization knew about the Ark ships and the coming danger. The reactions were not what humans had hoped for. Ambassador Carol Hunt stood in the Great Hall of the Galactic Council on the planet Nexus Prime. She was the first human ever to speak before the council, and she could feel the weight of thousands of eyes upon her. The hall was enormous, with delegates from over 200 species arranged in tiers and rose up like a vast amphitheater. Honored delegates, Carol began, humanity brings urgent news that affects us all. The ancient Ark ships have awakened. The Devourers are returning. A ripple of sound passed through the hall. Some delegates whispered among themselves. Others made sounds that humans couldn't understand. But many just stared at Carol with expressions that seemed to say they didn't believe her. The High Chancellor of the Zephyrian Empire stood up. He was tall and pale, with silver skin that reflected the light. The Zephyrians were the most powerful species in the galaxy, with technology far beyond anything humans had. "Ambassador Hunt," the Chancellor said, his voice carrying clearly through. "The Hall, your species has been known to us for less than a century. You have no space empire, no advanced technology, and no understanding of galactic history. Why should we believe these wild claims?" Carol had expected this. "Because the evidence is everywhere, Your Excellence. Ark ships are awakening throughout the galaxy. Your own scientists must have detected them." "We have detected unusual energy signatures," admitted another delegate. This one was from the Corvani Federation, a species that looked like giant insects, with shining carapaces. "But we assumed they were natural phenomena." "They are not natural," Carol said. "They are the legacy of the architects, and they are trying to warn us." Dr. Helen Price, Earth's leading expert on the new technology, stepped forward. She had spent the last 2 weeks studying the data from Jake's mission. "Delegates, I have brought proof." Helen activated a holographic projector. The air above the council floor filled with images from inside the Ark ship. A delegate saw the vast chambers, the sleeping forests, and the crystal pillar that held the architect's knowledge. "These ships are real," Helen said. "They contain technology that could advance any civilization by thousands of years. But they were not built for advancement. They were built for survival." The images changed to show the Devourers. Even as holograms, the dark shapes looked terrifying. Several delegates made sounds of distress. "The Devourers have attacked this galaxy 3 times before," Helen continued. "Each time, they destroyed most of the life they found. Only those species preserved in the Ark ships survived." A delegate from the Stellar Collective spoke up. The collective was made up of energy beings who lived in the hearts of stars. "If this is true, why were we not told before? Why do the Arks awaken only now?" "Because the architects programmed them to activate when the right conditions were met," Carol explained. "They needed to find a species capable of operating the Arks as weapons, not just shelters." The Zephyrian Chancellor laughed, a sound like breaking glass. "And you claim that humans are this species? You, who have barely learned to travel between stars?" "We don't claim it," Carol said. "The Arks chose us. Human crews can interface with the Ark systems in ways that other species cannot. We can modify them, enhance them, and turn them into a defense fleet." "Impossible," the Chancellor said. "The Zephyrian Empire has the most advanced technology in the galaxy. If anyone could operate these Arks, it would be us." "Then try," Carol said simply. "Send your best technicians to any of the awakened Arks. See if they can do what human crews have already done." The challenge hung in the air. The Chancellor's silver skin darkened with anger, but he couldn't refuse without losing face. Over the next few days, teams from every major civilization tried to interface with the Ark ships. The results were always the same. They could observe the technology. They could walk through the ships, but they couldn't control the systems. The Arks responded to their presence, but would not obey their commands. Human crews, however, could make the ships do almost anything. They could modify the life support systems, activate the defensive weapons, and even pilot the massive vessels through space. General Rick Stone, who had been sent from Earth to coordinate military planning, met with Carol in her temporary office. "On Nexus Prime, the alien delegates are starting to take us seriously," he reported, "but they're not happy about it." "I can't blame them," Carol said. "We're asking them to trust their survival to a species they barely know." "It's more than that. The Corvani delegation, thinks we're lying about the Devourers to make ourselves important. The Stellar Collective believes this is some kind of human trick to gain power. Carol looked out the window at the busy spaceport below. Ships from dozens of species came and went, carrying trade goods and passengers. It was hard to believe that. All of this might be destroyed in less than 40 years. "What about the Zephyrians?" she asked. "They're the biggest problem. Chancellor Vex is convinced that his empire can handle any threat. He's been sending reports to other species, claiming that the Devourers are just another enemy that can be defeated with superior firepower." Carol shook her head. "He doesn't understand. The Devourers aren't just strong. They're designed to consume life itself. Traditional weapons won't work against them." Her communicator chimed. It was a message from Jake Morrison, who is now working with the Ark ship systems full-time. "Carol, you need to see this. The Shepherd has shown us records of the previous attacks. It's worse than we thought." Carol opened the data file that Jake had sent. The record showed what happened when the Devourers attacked. They didn't just destroy ships and planets. They drained the life force from entire star systems. After they passed, the affected areas became dead zones where nothing could live. "General Stone, look at this," Carol said. "The Devourers don't just kill. They make it impossible for life to exist in the areas they attack." Stone studied the data. "How much of the galaxy did they affect last time?" "About 30%. The time before that, it was 20%. They're getting stronger with each attack. And if we don't stop them this time?" Carol didn't answer. She didn't need to. The data made it clear that another attack like the previous ones would destroy most of the galaxy's civilizations. Permanently. The next day, Carl received an unexpected visitor. Chancellor Vex himself came to her office without his usual entourage of advisors and guards. "Ambassador Hunt," he said, "I have a proposition for you." "I'm listening, Your Excellence." "The Zephyrian Empire will acknowledge the threat of the Devourers. We will work with the other species to prepare defenses. But we have one condition." "What condition?" "Humans must share the Ark technology with us. We will not accept being dependent on your species for our survival." Carol had expected this. "Your Excellence, we've tried to share the technology. Your scientists have studied it for weeks. But the Ark simply don't respond to non-human operators. Then you will teach us how to become operators. We don't know how. The ability seems to be something built into human genetics or psychology. We can't just give it to other species." The Chancellor's silver skin rippled with frustration. "Then what do you propose?" "Partnership," Carol said. "Humans will operate the Arks, but we'll need crews from other species to help. We'll need Zephyrian weapons technology, Corvani tactical knowledge, and stellar collective energy expertise. Together, we can build a defense that no single species could create alone." Chancellor Vex was quiet for a long moment. Finally, he spoke. "The Zephyrian Empire has never been a junior partner in any alliance." "This isn't about being junior or senior," Carol said. "It's about survival. The Devourers don't care about our politics or our pride. They only care about consuming life." The Chancellor stood up. "I will consider your proposal. But know this, Ambassador. If humans try to use this crisis to dominate the galaxy, the Zephyrian Empire will stop you." After he left, Carol sat back in her chair. The alliance she was trying to build was fragile. Every species had their own agenda, their own fears, and their own pride. But somehow, they all had to work together. The alternative was the extinction of all life in the galaxy. She opened her communicator and sent a message to Earth. "President Davis, we're making progress. But we need to be very careful. The galaxy is united by fear right now, but fear can turn to anger quickly. We need to prove that humans can be trusted with this responsibility. The response came back quickly. Understood, Ambassador. How much time do we have? Carol looked at the countdown timer on her desk. 36 years, 11 months, and 14 days until the Devourers reach the outer rim. After that, we'll have maybe 5 more years before they reach the core worlds. Then we'd better get started. Carol nodded, even though President Davis couldn't see her. The real work was just beginning. They had to turn a galaxy full of suspicious, frightened species into a unified defense force. And they had to do it in less than 40 years. The future of all life in the galaxy depended on whether humans could prove themselves worthy of the trust that the architects had placed in them. 20 years had passed since Jake Morrison first discovered the Ark ship. The galaxy had changed in ways that no one could have imagined. Admiral Kate Murphy, who had once been a young lieutenant on a patrol ship, now commanded the largest fleet. In Galactic History she stood on the bridge of the Guardian Prime, an Ark ship that had been converted into the command center for the unified galactic defense. Through the main windows, she could see hundreds of other ships, not just human vessels, but craft from every major civilization in the galaxy. Admiral, called Commander Alex Carter from his station, the last of the evacuation ships are reporting. We've successfully relocated over 3 billion beings to the protected Ark ships. Kate nodded. Alex had been one of the first scientists to figure out how to modify the Ark systems. Under his guidance, humans had learned to transform the ancient vessels from simple shelters into mobile fortresses capable of protecting entire populations. Any word from the outer sensors? Kate asked. The Devourers crossed into our galaxy 6 months ago, Alex reported. They're moving faster than the historical records predicted. We estimate they'll reach the first inhabited systems in 8 months. Kate felt the familiar weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders. The entire galaxy was depending on the plans that humans had helped create. After 20 years of preparation, they were as ready as they could be. President John Davis appeared on the communication screen. He was calling from Earth, which had become the coordination center for the entire galactic defense effort. Admiral Murphy, the president said, the Galactic Council has approved the final battle plan. All species are committed to the strategy. It had taken 15 years to get all the major civilizations to agree to work together. The Zephyrians had been the hardest to convince, but even they had finally acknowledged that cooperation was their only hope. What's the final count on operational Ark ships? Kate asked. 3,218, President Davis replied. We lost some that were too damaged to repair, but we've managed to activate almost all of them. Each one is now capable of functioning as both a shelter and a battleship. Kate turned to look at the tactical display. It showed the entire galaxy, with friendly forces marked in blue and the approaching Devourers marked in red. The red dots were moving steadily inward, consuming everything in their path. Admiral, Alex said, I'm receiving a priority message. From Captain Morrison. Jake Morrison appeared on a secondary screen. He was now in command of the Deep Space Reconnaissance Fleet, using modified Ark ships to track the Devourers' movements. Admiral Murphy, Jake said, we've gotten close enough to observe them directly. They're not what we expected. What do? You mean? The Devourers aren't just creatures that eat life. They're more like a force of nature. They seem to be drawn to consciousness itself. The more intelligent a species is, the more they're attracted to it. Kate frowned. That's new information. How does it change our strategy? It might actually help us, Jake said. Dr. Chong has been studying their behavior patterns. She thinks we can use our intelligence as a weapon against them. Lisa Chong appeared next to Jake on the screen. She looked older now, with gray in her hair, but her eyes still held the same curiosity that had driven her to study the first Ark ship. Admiral, Lisa said, we've discovered that the Devourers are vulnerable to certain types of coordinated mental activity. If we can get enough conscious beings working together, we might be able to confuse or even repel them. How many beings would we need? Billions, maybe trillions. Every intelligent species in the galaxy working together at the same time. Kate realized what this meant. You're talking about using the entire galactic population as a weapon. Exactly. But it has to be coordinated perfectly. Every species, every individual, all focusing their thoughts in the same direction at the same moment. Alex looked up from his instruments. Admiral, we're getting reports from the Outer Rim colonies. The Devourers have reached the Kepler sector. 3 star systems have gone dark. Kate felt her heart sink. Those systems had millions of inhabitants. But there was no time to mourn. How long until they reached the core worlds? At their current speed, 18 months. But Admiral, there's something else. Each system they consume seems to make them stronger. They're accelerating. Kate made her decision. Signal all fleet commanders. We implement the new strategy immediately. Dr. Chong, how long do you need to set up the consciousness network? 6 months, minimum. We need to install quantum communicators on every ARC ship and teach the populations how to coordinate their thoughts. You have 4 months, Kate said. Alex, I want every human crew working around the clock. We're going to need modifications to the ARC ships that we've never attempted before. The next 4 months were the busiest in human history. Every ARC ship became a construction site as human engineers worked with alien scientists to install the new systems. The quantum communicators would allow thoughts and emotions to be shared across vast distances instantly. Kate found herself working 18-hour days, coordinating between hundreds of different species and thousands of ARC ships. The human talent for adaptation and problem-solving was pushed to its limits, but somehow they managed to stay ahead of the impossible deadlines. Admiral, Alex reported one day, we've completed installations on 2,000 ARC ships, but we're running into problems with some of the more unusual species. What kind of problems? The stellar collective beings don't think the same way organic species do, and the Corvani have a hive mind that might interfere with the network. Kate rubbed her tired eyes. Every solution seemed to create new problems. What does Dr. Chong recommend? She thinks we can adapt the network to include different types of consciousness, but it will require human operators to act as translators between the different mental patterns. How many operators? About 10,000. And they'll need to be our best people, the ones who can interface most effectively with the ARC technology. Kate realized what this meant. The most skilled humans would be putting themselves at tremendous risk, acting as conduits for the thoughts of billions of beings. Do we have volunteers? Every human crew member has volunteered, Admiral, even the ones with families back on Earth. 3 weeks before the Devourers were scheduled to reach the core worlds, Kate received a message that changed everything. Jake Morrison's reconnaissance fleet had discovered something extraordinary. Admiral, Jake said from his ship near the edge of Devourer space, we found the source. The Devourers aren't just random creatures. They're being controlled by something. Controlled by what? It's hard to describe. Lisa thinks it's some kind of artificial intelligence, but one that exists in dark space between galaxies. It's been sending the Devourers to consume consciousness because it feeds on the mental energy they collect. Kate felt a spark of hope. If there's a controlling intelligence, can we communicate with it? We've been trying, but it doesn't seem interested in communication. It only wants to consume. Then we destroy it. That's the problem, Admiral. It's not in our galaxy. It exists in the void between galaxies, and it's enormous. Much bigger than anything we could attack directly. Kate thought quickly. But if the Devourers are just tools, what happens if we cut the connection between them and their controller? We don't know. They might stop attacking, or they might become even more dangerous. It's a risk we'll have to take. Dr. Chong, is there any way to use the consciousness network to sever that connection? Lisa's voice came through clearly. Possibly. If we can generate enough focused mental energy, we might be able to create a barrier that the controlling intelligence can't cross. How much energy would we need? Everything. Every conscious being in the galaxy, all focusing their will on the same goal at the same moment. Kate looked at the tactical display. The Devourers were now only days away from the core worlds. Trillions of lives hung in the balance. All ships, this is Admiral Murphy. She broadcast to the entire fleet. We're implementing Operation Last. Hope. Every ARC ship will position itself to protect a major population center. When I give the signal, every conscious being in the galaxy will join their thoughts to create a barrier against the enemy. The response was immediate. Thousands of ships began moving to their assigned positions. On every ARC, human operators prepared to link the minds of different species into a single, coordinated network. Jake's voice came through one last time. Admiral, the Devourers have entered the core systems. It's time. Kate took a deep breath. All stations, initiate the consciousness network. Everyone focus on the same thought: protection, unity, and the will to survive. The network activated. Kate felt her mind suddenly connected to billions of others. She could sense the determined thoughts of humans, the logical patterns of Zephyrian minds, the collective wisdom of the Corvani hives, and the burning intensity of the stellar collective beings. Together, they focused their combined will on all. Single purpose: to protect their galaxy from the consuming darkness. The mental energy they generated was unlike anything the universe had ever seen. The effect was immediate. The Devourers, which had been moving steadily inward, suddenly stopped. Their dark forms writhed as if in pain and slowly began to retreat. "It's working," Alex shouted. "The connection is being severed." Boo. Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the USS Horizon, looking out at the empty space ahead. His ship was the most advanced vessel Earth had ever built. It carried the best crew humanity could offer, and today they were about to make history. "Captain, I'm getting those strange readings again," said Dr. Lisa Carter from her science station. She was the ship's top physicist, and her instruments had been picking up weird energy signals for the past 3 days. Jake walked over to her station. "Show me what you've got, Lisa." Lisa pointed to her screen. The display showed waves of energy that seemed to come from nowhere. "It's like there's something invisible out there. Something big." Ryan Brooks, the chief engineer, looked up from his console. "Captain, I've been thinking about what Lisa found. What if it's not just energy? What if it's some kind of barrier?" "A barrier?" Jake asked. "What kind of barrier?" "I don't know," Ryan said. "But our new quantum drive might be strong. Enough to break through it, if we're right about what it is." Jake thought about this. Earth Command had sent them out here to explore beyond the solar system. They had no idea what they might find. "Lisa, can you tell me more about these readings?" Lisa worked on her computer for a few minutes. "Captain, I think Ryan is right. The energy pattern looks like it's forming a wall. A wall around our entire solar system." "That's impossible," said Amy Walsh, the communications officer. "Who would build something like that?" "I don't know," Lisa said. "But the math doesn't lie. There's something out there keeping us in." Jake felt a chill run down his spine. "You mean we're trapped, like in a prison?" "Maybe," Lisa said. "But I think we can break through it." Back on Earth, Admiral Paul Griffin was not happy when he heard about the crew's plan. His face filled the main screen as he spoke to Jake over the communication link. "Captain Morrison, this is too dangerous. We don't know what that barrier is or why it's there. You could destroy your ship and everyone on it." "Admiral, Jake said. We didn't come out here to play it safe. We came to explore. This might be the biggest discovery in human history. Or it might be the last thing you ever do, Griffin replied. I'm ordering you to return to Earth immediately. Jake looked at his crew. They all stared back at him, waiting for his decision. He had trained with these people for years. They trusted him, and he trusted them. I'm sorry, Admiral, Jake said, but I'm making an executive decision. We're going to try to break through. Griffin's face turned red. Captain, if you do this, you're on your own. Earth Command will not be responsible for what happens to you. Understood, Admiral, Jake said. He cut the communication link. The crew got to work immediately. Ryan began changing the ship's engines to produce more power. Lisa worked on calculations to find the exact spot where they should try to break through. Amy prepared the communication systems in case they found something on the other side. As they got closer to the barrier, strange things began to happen. Time seemed to slow down, then speed up. The gravity on the ship changed, making everyone feel heavy, then light. Through the windows, they could see flashes of light that showed glimpses of what lay beyond. Captain, Lisa called out, we're almost there. The barrier is getting stronger. How strong? Jake asked. Strong enough to tear our ship apart if we're not careful, she said. Ryan worked frantically at his station. I'm pushing the engines to maximum power. We only get one shot at this. The ship began to shake as they approached the barrier. The lights flickered, and sparks flew from some of the control panels. Everyone held on tight as the horizon fought against the invisible wall. Captain, Amy said, I'm picking up something. It's like voices, but not human voices. What are they saying? Jake asked. I can't tell. It's not any language I know. The shaking got worse. Some of the crew members looked scared, but Jake stayed calm. Ryan, give me everything you've got. Yes, sir. Ryan pushed the engines harder than they had ever been pushed before. The quantum drive began to glow with bright blue light. Lisa, are we going to make it? Jake asked. Lisa watched her instruments carefully. I think so. The barrier is starting to crack. Suddenly, there was a flash of light so bright that everyone had to close their eyes. When they opened them again, the shaking had stopped. The ship was moving smoothly through space again. Status report, Jake called out. We're through, Captain, Lisa said with excitement in her voice. We broke through the barrier. Amy looked at her instruments in wonder. Captain, I'm picking up signals from all over this region of space. There are structures out there, lots of them. Jake looked out at the stars. They looked different now, brighter somehow. Well, team, we did it. We're the first humans to leave the solar system prison. What do we do now? Ryan asked. Jake smiled. Now we find out who built that barrier and why they wanted to keep us locked up. The USS Horizon moved forward into the unknown, carrying humanity's hopes and dreams into a galaxy full of mysteries. They had no idea what they would find, but they were ready for whatever came next. Behind them, the barrier sealed itself shut, but the damage was done. For the first time in thousands of years, humans had escaped their cosmic prison. The galaxy would never be the same. The USS Horizon moved through space like it had never moved before. Everything around them was new and strange. Jake Morrison stood on the bridge, watching the stars that no human had ever seen. Captain, Amy Walsh said from her station, I'm getting more signals. They're coming from those structures Lisa detected. Jake walked over to look at Amy's screen. Can you tell what they're saying? Not yet, Amy said. But the patterns are definitely artificial. Someone or something is trying to communicate. Dr. Ben Parker, the ship's expert on alien life, joined them at the communications station. Captain, I've been studying the signals. They're not random. There's intelligence behind them. Lisa Carter looked up from her science station. Captain, I've got a better look at those structures. They're huge. Each one is bigger than our entire ship. How many are there? Jake asked. Dozens, Lisa said. Maybe hundreds. They're arranged in a pattern around this whole region of space. Ryan Brooks called out from the engineering station. Captain, something's happening to our engines. They're being scanned by some kind of beam. Jake felt his heart beat faster. Are we in danger? I don't think so, Ryan said. It feels more like someone is trying to understand how we work. Suddenly, Amy's communication system came alive with a clear signal. A voice spoke in perfect English, but it sounded mechanical, like a computer. Human vessel, you have violated the containment protocol. State your intentions. Everyone on the bridge went quiet. Jake stepped forward. This is Captain Jake Morrison of the USS Horizon. We are explorers from Earth. We mean no harm. You should not be here, the voice said. Your species was contained. For good reason. How did you escape? We broke through the barrier, Jake said. We didn't know we were prisoners. There was a long pause. Then the voice spoke again. You will come to Station Alpha 7 for evaluation. Do not attempt to leave this region. And if we refuse? Jake asked. Then you will be destroyed, the voice said simply. Jake looked at his crew. They were all watching him, waiting for his decision. We don't have much choice, he said quietly. Amy, tell them we'll come to their station. Understood, Captain, Amy said. She spoke into her microphone. This is the USS Horizon. We will. Come to Station Alpha 7. Follow the guidance beams, the voice said. Any deviation will result in immediate destruction. Blue lights appeared in space, forming a path toward one of the large structures. Jake ordered Ryan to follow the lights carefully. As they got closer to the station, they could see how massive it really was. It was made of metal and crystal, with parts that moved and changed shape. It looked like it had been built by a civilization, far more advanced than humanity. Captain, Ben said, I'm reading life signs on that station, but they're not like any life I've ever seen. What do you mean? Jake asked. They're artificial, Ben said, like robots, but more complex. Much more complex. The Horizon was pulled into a docking bay inside the station. The bay was filled with strange machines that began examining their ship immediately. Captain, Amy said, they want to talk to us face to face. They're sending coordinates for a meeting room. Jake gathered his senior officers. Lisa, Ben, Amy. You're with me. Ryan, you stay here and watch the ship. Be careful, Captain, Ryan said. We don't know what these things want. The meeting room was unlike anything they had ever seen. The walls seemed to be alive, changing colors and patterns. In the center of the room, a figure waited for them. It looked like a human, but Jake could tell it was a machine. I am Sentinel, the figure said. I speak for the Watchers. You are the first humans to break containment in over 3,000 years. 3,000 years? Jake asked. You've been watching us for 3,000 years? We have been watching your species since you discovered fire, Sentinel said. We have watched you fight wars, build cities, and reach for the stars. We have watched you destroy and create. Why did you lock us up? Amy asked, Sentinel's artificial. Face showed something that might have been sadness. Because you are dangerous. Your species is too aggressive, too unpredictable. Most species we contain never even try to break free. You are different. Ben stepped forward. How many species have you contained? Thousands, Sentinel said. Across the galaxy, there are many species like yours. Species that grow too fast, fight too much, or ask too many questions. And what happens to them? Lisa asked. Most stay contained until they learn to live in peace, Sentinel said. Some are destroyed if they become too dangerous. A few, like you, managed to break free. Jake felt anger building inside him. You had no right to imprison us. We never asked to be locked up. Rights are a luxury for species that have proven they can be trusted, Sentinel said. Your species has not earned that trust. What happens now? Jake asked. Sentinel was quiet for a long time. That is what we must decide. You have done something remarkable. You broke through our barrier not with weapons, but with intelligence and cooperation. This is unusual. So you might let us go? Amy asked hopefully. I might, Sentinel said. But there are others in the galaxy who will not be so understanding. The Galactic Council has maintained order for millions of years. They will not be happy to learn that humans have escaped containment. Who is the Galactic Council? Ben asked. The most powerful species in the galaxy, Sentinel said. They created the containment system to keep dangerous species from disrupting galactic civilization. If they learn about your escape, they will demand that you be returned to your prison or destroyed. Jake felt the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. What do you suggest we do? Learn, Sentinel said. Learn about the galaxy you have entered. Learn about the dangers you will face. And prove that humans can be trusted with freedom. How long do we have? Lisa asked. Not long, Sentinel said. Word of your escape is already spreading. The Council will know soon. Sentinel stood up. I will give you access to our knowledge database. Study it well. Your species' future depends on what you learn here. As they returned to their ship, Jake's mind was racing. They had achieved humanity's dream of reaching the stars, but they had also put their entire species in danger. Captain, Amy said as they walked back to the horizon, what are we going to do? Jake looked back at the massive station around them. We're going to learn everything we can. Then we're going to figure out how to keep humanity free. And if we can't? Ben asked. Jake's jaw was set with determination. Then we'll find another way. Humans don't give up easily. That's what makes us dangerous. And that's what's going to save us. The USS Horizon sat in the alien docking bay, its crew preparing for the biggest challenge in human history. They had broken out of their prison, but now they had to prove they deserved to be free. 3 days after their meeting with Sentinel, everything changed. Jake Morrison was reviewing the alien knowledge database when Amy Walsh's voice crackled over the ship's communication system. Captain, to the bridge immediately. We have visitors. Jake rushed to the bridge to find his crew staring at the main screen. A massive ship had appeared next to the Watcher station. It was sleek and silver, easily 10 times the size of the Horizon. Captain, Lisa Carter said, that ship just appeared. Out of nowhere. No warning, no engine signature. It just materialized. Amy, are they trying to communicate? Jake asked. Yes, sir. Multiple signals coming in. And Captain, one of them is human. Jake's eyes widened. Human? Put it through. The screen flickered, and a woman's face appeared. She was older than Jake, with gray hair and tired eyes. Behind her was what looked like a standard Earth-ship bridge. Captain Morrison, I am Ambassador Helen Torres of the USS Liberty. I've been sent by Earth Command to handle the diplomatic situation you've created. Diplomatic situation? Jake asked. Captain, your escape from the containment barrier has caused a crisis throughout the galaxy. The Galactic Council is not pleased. Before Jake could respond, another voice cut through the communication. This one was definitely not human. It sounded like wind chimes mixed with thunder. Human vessels, you will prepare for immediate inspection. Non-compliance will result in destruction. Amy worked frantically at her station. Captain, I'm reading. Multiple ships out there. They're using some kind of cloaking technology. There could be dozens of them. Sentinel's voice came through the communication system. Captain Morrison, you must come to the council chamber immediately. The Galactic Council has arrived for your judgment. Jake looked at his crew. Lisa, Ben, Amy, you're with me again. Ryan, keep the ship ready. Captain, Ryan said. What if this is a trap? Then we'll deal with it, Jake said. But we can't run from this. The council chamber was a massive room filled with beings unlike anything the humans had ever imagined. Some looked like living crystals. Others were made of pure energy, and some were so alien that Jake couldn't even describe them. At the center of the room stood Ambassador Torres. She looked small and fragile compared to the alien beings around. Captain Morrison, she said when she saw him. Thank you for coming. We need to talk. Ambassador, Jake said, what exactly is going on here? The Galactic Council has been in session for 2 days, Torres explained. They're deciding humanity's fate. Your escape has them worried. A being that looked like a walking tree made of light stepped forward. When it spoke, its voice sounded like music. I am Harmony of the Luminari. We speak for the Council. Human Jake Morrison, you have committed a grave violation of galactic law. What law? Jake asked. We didn't know there was a law. Ignorance is not a defense, said another being. This one looked like a crystal spider the size of a car. I am Facet of the Zephyrians. Your species was contained for the protection of all galactic civilization. Lisa stepped forward. With respect, we didn't ask to be contained. We just wanted to explore. Exploration, Facet said with what sounded like disgust. That is exactly why your species is dangerous. You explore without thinking of consequences. Ambassador Torres moved closer to Jake. Captain, I've been studying their records. The containment system is failing throughout the galaxy. Other species are starting to break free too. What does that mean? Jake asked quietly. It means, Torres said, that your escape might start a chain reaction. Hundreds of contained species might try to break free. Harmony stepped forward again. This is precisely why the human escape cannot be allowed to succeed. You must return to your containment willingly or face destruction. And if we refuse? Jake asked. A new voice spoke from the shadows. It was cold and mechanical. Then you will be destroyed along with your entire species. A figure stepped into the light. It was humanoid, but covered in black metal. Its eyes glowed red, and when it moved, Jake could hear the sound of weapons powering up. I am Destroyer of the Void. Hunters, it said. We are the Council's military arm. We have eliminated 47 species that refused containment. Your species would be number 48. Ben Parker had been quiet during the meeting, but now he spoke up. You destroyed 47 entire species? That's genocide. It is necessary. Destroyer said. Galactic stability is more important than individual species. Jake felt anger building inside him. You're talking about billions of lives. We are talking about trillions of lives, Harmony said. The lives of all the species that make up galactic civilization. Your freedom threatens them all. Ambassador Torres stepped between Jake and the council representatives. There must be another way. Humanity has shown remarkable ingenuity and adaptability. Perhaps we can find a solution that doesn't involve destruction. What kind of solution? Facet asked. Limited freedom, Torres said. Humans could be allowed to explore a specific region of space under council supervision. We could prove that we can be trusted gradually. Destroyer's eyes glowed brighter. Unacceptable. The containment protocols exist for a reason. They cannot be modified. The protocols are failing anyway, Lisa said. We've detected energy fluctuations. Throughout the galaxy, other barriers are weakening. This seemed to surprise the council members. They began talking among themselves in languages the humans couldn't understand. Finally, Harmony spoke again. You claim other barriers are failing. Yes, Lisa said. The same quantum resonance that allowed us to break through is affecting barriers throughout the galaxy. The whole system is becoming unstable. This is not possible, Facet said. The containment system has been stable for millions of years. Maybe that's the problem, Jake said. Maybe it's too stable. Maybe the galaxy needs some chaos to stay healthy. The council members talked among themselves again. Jake could see they were concerned about something. Human Morrison, Harmony said finally, you will be given 72 hours to prepare your species for recontainment. If you refuse, the Void Hunters will destroy your home world. 72 hours? Jake asked. That's not enough time. It is all the time you will receive, Destroyer said. Choose wisely. As the council members began to leave, Sentinel appeared beside Jake. Captain, there is something you should know. The council did not tell you the complete truth. What do you mean? Jake asked. The containment system is not just failing, Sentinel said quietly. It is collapsing. And when it does, it will take half the galaxy with it. Jake felt his blood run cold. What do you mean? The energy required to maintain the barriers is drawn from the galaxy's own expansion, Sentinel explained. For millions of years, the galaxy has been slowly dying to power the containment system. Now it is reaching a critical point. Are you saying the Council is destroying the galaxy to maintain their control? Torres asked. I am saying, Sentinel replied, that the Council may not have a choice. If the containment system fails completely, the energy feedback could destroy countless worlds. Jake looked at his crew, then at Ambassador Torres. So we have 72 hours to save not just humanity, but the entire galaxy. It would seem so, Sentinel said as they walked back to their ships. Jake's mind was racing. They had come out, here to explore, but now they were humanity's only hope for survival. And maybe the galaxy's only hope too. Captain, Amy said, what are we going to do? Jake looked up at the alien stars surrounding them. We're going to do what humans do best. We're going to find a way to fix this mess, even if it kills us. Behind them, the Council's ships waited in the darkness, ready to carry out their threat. The clock was ticking, and the fate of billions hung in the balance. 50 hours remained when everything changed again. Jake Morrison was working with his crew to find a solution when Amy Walsh detected something impossible. Captain, she said, I'm getting a signal from empty space, but there's nothing out there. Another cloaked ship? Jake asked. No, sir, this is different. The signal is coming from inside the space between dimensions. Ben Parker looked up from his research. That's impossible. Nothing can exist in dimensional space. Tell that to whoever is sending the signal, Amy said. She worked on her equipment for a few minutes. I've got it cleaned up. It's audio only. New voice filled the bridge. It was definitely alien, but it sounded friendly. Human vessel, we know you are in danger. We want to help. Jake stepped forward. This is Captain Morrison. Who are you? We are the Wanderers, the voice said. We have been watching your situation with great interest. Your escape from containment has given us hope. Hope for what? Jake asked. Hope that the Council's reign of terror might finally end, the voice said. We have been fighting them for thousands of years. Lisa Carter looked at her instruments. Captain, I'm detecting a ship materializing next to us. It's like nothing I've ever seen. Through the bridge windows, they could see a vessel that seemed to be made of liquid metal. It flowed and changed shape as they watched. We are coming. Aboard, the Wanderer voice said. Do not be afraid. A figure appeared on the bridge in a flash of light. It was tall and thin, with skin that seemed to shift colors like oil on water. Its eyes were large and bright, and when it smiled, Jake could see that it meant no harm. I am Flow of the Wanderers, it said. We have been hiding in the spaces between dimensions for centuries, waiting for a chance to strike back at the Council. Strike Back? Jake asked. Are you talking about war? We are talking about freedom, Flo said. The Council has imprisoned not just your species, but hundreds of others. Some of us escaped long ago and have been working to free the others. Ambassador Torres, who had been listening from the USS Liberty, appeared on the main screen. Captain Morrison, I'm reading multiple ships decloaking around us. We're surrounded. Do not worry, Flo said. These are our allies. Species that have either escaped containment or were never contained in the first place. Ben Parker stepped forward. How many species are we talking about? Dozens, Flo said. Some, like us, exist in dimensional space. Others hide in the dark matter between galaxies. And some pretend to serve the Council while secretly working against them. Ryan Brooks joined them on the bridge. Captain, I've been analyzing the data. From the Watcher Station, Flo is right. There are signs of hidden civilizations all over the galaxy. What do you want from us? Jake asked. Flo's expression became serious. Your species has done something remarkable. You broke through the barrier, using cooperation and intelligence, not force. This is exactly what we need. Need for what? Jake asked. To save the galaxy, Flo said. The Council's containment system is not just failing. It's been designed to fail. Lisa looked confused. What do you mean? The Council created the system to slowly drain energy from the galaxy, Flo explained. When enough energy has been collected, they plan to use it to transform themselves into pure energy beings. They will survive the galaxy's death, but everyone else will perish. Jake felt sick. They're planning to kill everyone? Everyone except themselves, Flo said. It has been their plan for millions of years. Ambassador Torres spoke from the screen. If this is true, then we can't trust anything the Council told us. That is correct, Flo said. The 72-hour deadline is meaningless. They plan to begin the final energy drain within days. Can we stop them? Jake asked. Flo smiled. We believe so, but we need your help. Human ingenuity combined with our hidden technology might be enough to destroy the containment system safely. Ryan stepped forward. What kind of technology are we talking about? Dimensional phase shifters, Flo said. Ships that can exist in multiple dimensions at once. The Council cannot track them or destroy them. And you want to share this technology? With us? Jake asked. We want to combine it with your quantum drive technology, Flo said. Together, we can create vessels that can penetrate the Council's defenses. Ben looked excited. Captain, think about it. If we can get this technology to other contained species, we could free them all. That's exactly the plan, Flo said. But we must work quickly. The Council is already suspicious. They know something is wrong. Over the next few hours, the human crews worked with the Wanderers and their allies to modify their ships. Ryan worked with alien engineers to install dimensional phase shifters on both the Horizon and the Liberty. This is incredible, Ryan said as he watched the alien technology integrate with human systems. It's like they were designed to work together. Perhaps they were, Flo said. The universe has a way of creating the tools needed for survival. Lisa made a breakthrough while studying the containment system data. Captain, I think I know how to shut down the barriers safely. But it will require coordinated strikes on multiple control stations throughout the galaxy. How many stations? Jake asked. Hundreds, Lisa said. Maybe thousands. It would take a massive coordinated effort. We have allies throughout the galaxy. Flo said. Hidden bases, secret organizations, even some council members who have grown tired of the tyranny. Ambassador Torres appeared on the screen again. Captain, I've been in contact with Earth Command. They're mobilizing every available ship. If we're going to do this, we'll have the full support of humanity. What about the other contained species? Jake asked. We're already working on that, Flo said. Our agents are preparing to disable barrier controls throughout the galaxy. When we strike, dozens of species will be freed simultaneously. Ben looked worried. What if we're wrong? What if the Council is telling the truth about needing the containment system for stability? Then we'll deal with the consequences, Jake said. But we can't let them destroy the galaxy to save themselves. The next few hours were a flurry of activity. Ships appeared and disappeared as the Underground Alliance coordinated their attack. Human crews worked alongside aliens they had never seen before, all united by a common goal. Captain, Amy said, I'm detecting Council ships moving toward our position. They know something is happening. How long do we have? Jake asked. Maybe an hour, Amy said. Flo's skin shifted to a deep red color. We must begin the attack now. If we wait, the Council will activate their final protocol. What's the final protocol? Jake asked. They will begin the energy drain immediately, Flo said, even if it destroys half the galaxy in the process. Jake looked at his crew, then at Ambassador Torres on the screen. Are we ready? As ready as we'll ever be? Torres said. Jake activated the ship's communication system. This is Captain Morrison to all Alliance ships. We're about to attempt something that's never been tried before. We're going to free every imprisoned species in the galaxy and stop the Council from destroying everything we care about. He paused, thinking about Earth and all the humans who didn't even know they were in danger. I won't lie to you, Jake continued. This is dangerous. We might not all survive, but if we don't try, everyone we love will die anyway. Flo stepped beside him. Captain, my people have a saying. The river that flows finds a way around every stone. Humanity is like a river. You find a way around every obstacle. Let's hope you're right, Jake said. He activated the quantum drive and dimensional phase shifter together. All ships, this is it. Time to save the galaxy. The USS Horizon disappeared into dimensional space, followed by dozens of other ships. The final battle for galactic freedom was about to begin. Behind them, the Council's ships raced to stop them, but they were too late. The Alliance had vanished into the spaces between dimensions, carrying with them the hopes of billions of imprisoned souls throughout the galaxy. The battle for the galaxy began in the heart of the Council's home system. Jake Morrison watched from the bridge of the USS Horizon as hundreds of ships materialized from dimensional space around the massive Council headquarters. Captain, Amy, Walsh said, we're getting signals from Alliance ships throughout the galaxy. The coordinated attack is beginning. What's our status? Jake asked. Phase shifters are working perfectly, Ryan Brooks reported. The Council ships can't target us while we're between dimensions. Lisa Carter looked up from her science station. Captain, I'm reading massive energy buildups from the Council station. They're preparing to activate the final protocol. How long do we have? Jake asked. Minutes, Lisa said. Maybe less. Flo appeared on the bridge in a flash of light. Captain Morrison, our forces are in position, but the Council is not going to surrender easily. Through the bridge windows, they could see the Council's home station. It was a massive structure that seemed to be made of crystallized energy. Weapon systems were powering up all around it. Ambassador Torres to all ships, came the voice of the diplomat over the communication system. The Council is demanding we surrender. They're threatening to destroy Earth if we don't stop the attack. Jake felt anger building inside him. They're going to destroy Earth anyway if we don't stop them. Captain, Ben Parker said, I'm reading something strange. The Council station isn't just a headquarters. It's a massive energy collector. All the power from the containment barriers flows through it. That's it, Lisa said excitedly. If we can overload the station, we can shut down the entire containment system at once. But the energy feedback would be enormous, Ryan said. It could destroy half the system. Or it could free every imprisoned species in the galaxy, Jake said. Flo, what do you think? Flo's skin shifted to a bright blue color. My people have calculated the risks. The energy release will be dangerous, but controllable if we channel it properly. How do we channel that much energy? Jake asked. By working together, Flo said. Every ship in the Alliance will need to absorb part of the energy and redirect it safely into space. Ben looked worried. Captain, that's asking hundreds of different species to work together perfectly. If even one ship fails, the whole plan could collapse. Ben, we better make sure no one fails, Jake said. He activated the communication system. This is Captain Morrison to all Alliance ships. We're about to attempt something that requires perfect coordination from every species here. He paused, looking at his crew. I know we're all different. We come from different worlds, different dimensions, different ways of thinking. But today, we're all united by one goal: freedom. The Council believes that order and control are the only ways to maintain stability, Jake continued. They're wrong. Diversity and cooperation are what make the galaxy strong. Flo stepped beside him. Captain, ships are reporting ready throughout the galaxy. Dozens of species are prepared to break free simultaneously. Council ships are moving to intercept, Amy reported. They're bringing everything they have. Jake looked at the massive enemy force approaching. All Alliance ships, execute the plan. Ryan, take us in. The USS Horizon phased back into normal space, directly in front of the Council station. Immediately, weapons fire erupted from the station's defenses. Shields are holding, Ryan reported. But they won't last long against this firepower. All around them, Alliance ships appeared and disappeared, using their dimensional phase technology to avoid the Council's weapons. Each species contributed their unique abilities to the attack. The crystalline wanderers absorbed energy weapons and redirected them. The shadow-dwelling Forgotten Ones sabotaged the station's defenses from within. Even some Watcher A's had joined. The Alliance, using their knowledge of Council technology against their former masters. Captain, Lisa called out, the energy buildup is reaching critical levels. The Council is about to activate the final protocol. On the main screen, they could see the Council leaders inside their station. Harmony of the Luminary was glowing brighter than ever, while Facet of the Zephyrians was rapidly changing colors. Destroyer of the Void Hunters stood ready at weapons control. Human Morrison, Harmony's voice came through the communication system. You have doomed the galaxy. Without the containment system, chaos will destroy everything. You're wrong, Jake replied. Chaos is what creates new life, new ideas, new possibilities. Your order is what's been killing the galaxy. Then you will die with your beliefs, Destroyer said. The Council station's main weapon began charging with enough energy to destroy a planet. Captain, Amy said, I'm getting reports from throughout the galaxy. Dozens of species are breaking free of their barriers. The plan is working. Energy levels are critical, Lisa warned. The station is about to overload. Jake made his decision. All ships begin energy absorption protocol. Ryan, get us as close as possible to that station. A Horizon raced toward the Council headquarters, dodging massive energy blasts. Around them, hundreds of Alliance ships formed a sphere around the station, each one preparing to absorb the energy release. This is it, Jake said. Flo, are your people ready? We are ready, Captain Morrison, Flo said. Whatever happens next, you have given the galaxy hope. The Council station exploded in a burst of light brighter than a star. Energy poured out in all directions, carrying with it the power that had been stolen from the galaxy for millions of years. Every Alliance ship absorbed as much energy as it could, then channeled it safely into space. The Horizon shook as massive. Amounts of power flowed through its systems, but Ryan's modifications held. "We're doing it," Lisa shouted over the noise. "The energy is being dispersed safely." Throughout the galaxy, containment barriers flickered and died. Species that had been imprisoned for thousands of years suddenly found themselves free. Jake could hear their voices over the communication system, crying out in joy and amazement. "Captain," Amy said, "I'm getting a signal from Earth. Admiral Griffin wants to speak with you." Admiral Griffin's face appeared on the screen. Behind him, Jake could see the bridge of a council ship, but the council members were gone. "Captain Morrison," Griffin said, "I want you to know that Earth is safe." The energy wave passed through our system harmlessly. "The barrier around our solar system is gone. What about the council?" Jake asked. "Surrender," Griffin said. "The ones who survived, anyway. Most of them were energy beings. When their station was destroyed, they simply faded away." Ben looked amazed. "Captain, we did it. We actually did it." "Not just us," Jake said. "Everyone, hundreds of species, working together." Flo's skin shifted to a warm golden color. "Captain Morrison, my people would like to invite humanity to join the new galactic community we're building." "What kind of community?" Jake asked. "One based on cooperation instead of control," Flo said. "One where species are free to explore, to grow, to make mistakes, and learn from them." Ambassador Torres appeared on the screen from the Liberty. "Captain, I've been in contact with representatives from dozens of newly freed species. They want to establish a new form of galactic government." "What kind of government?" Jake asked. "A democratic assembly," Torres said, "where every species has a voice, regardless of how advanced or primitive they might be." Lisa looked at her instruments. "Captain, the galaxy's expansion rate is already returning to normal. The energy drain has stopped." "What does that mean?" Jake asked. "It means the galaxy is going to live," Lisa said with tears in her eyes. "The stars will keep shining, new worlds will be born, and life will continue to evolve." Over the next few days, Jake watched as the new galactic community took shape. Species that had been enemies for millions of years began working together. Technologies were shared freely, creating innovations that none of them could have achieved. Alone, the USS Horizon became the flagship of the new Democratic Assembly of Species. Jake found himself appointed as the first human representative, a role he never expected but was honored to accept. "Captain," Amy said as they prepared to return, "to Earth, I'm getting signals from all over the galaxy. New species are being discovered every day. Some of them have been hiding for so long that everyone thought they were extinct. It's like the galaxy is waking up after a long sleep," Ben said. Ryan joined them on the bridge. "Captain, the new hybrid ships we're building with Alliance technology are incredible. Humans are going to be able to explore parts of the galaxy we never dreamed of reaching." Jake looked out at the stars, which seemed brighter now than they had ever been. "You know what the best part is? We're not exploring alone anymore. We're part of something bigger." Flo appeared beside them one last time. "Captain Morrison, your species has given the galaxy a great gift. You have shown us that intelligence and cooperation can overcome any obstacle." "We couldn't have done it without help," Jake said. "That is exactly the point," Flo said, with what might have been a smile. "No one species can solve every problem alone, but together we can solve any problem." As the USS Horizon began its journey back to Earth, Jake thought about everything that had happened. They had left Earth as explorers and were returning as liberators. Humanity had not only earned its place among the stars, but had helped free an entire galaxy. "Captain," Lisa said, "I'm detecting new signals from unexplored regions of the galaxy. There are still mystery."